Hi everybody, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to talk about how did I end up investing out of state and specifically what market. I'm also going to run the numbers for my first rental property. If you watch my other videos, I went over how I flushed my 401k to obtain my primary residence. But this time I'm switching over to my first rental property. So, where is this market? This market is actually in Indiana. I want to say I'm from Los Angeles, California. Living in California, where property prices are significantly higher than most cities in the country, I quickly realized that purchasing another property wasn't financially feasible. The high entry costs, specifically the substantial down payments for a rental property on conventional mortgages, would amount to thousands of dollars. It's different from obtaining your primary residence, in which you can apply to FHA mortgages, some no down payment loans, different things. For a rental property, most banks require you to have a 20% down payment. So in LA, if you purchase a single family home, most likely you'll see in different areas of LA as low as 500K to $1 million. So that's quite a lot. Recognizing this, I began exploring other opportunities in other states. During a trip that I have to Illinois, specifically Chicago, I was captivated by the city's architecture and walkable neighborhoods. Intrigued by the market, I began to look possible homes, rentals in the area. But I also, on my research, understood that Chicago and Illinois, it's not a very landlord-friendly state. And so I wanted my investments to be more secure. So I quickly discarded Chicago as a city I wanted to invest and moved on to neighboring states. This is why I landed in Indiana. If you haven't been to Chicago, Indiana's border from downtown Chicago is maybe 30 minutes. So Indiana is quite close to the state. So when I started looking at Indiana, they have pretty good landlord-friendly regulations, which provides opportunities for new real estate investors to have an easier time renting. So I started looking at homes. And YouTube University, I found two different investors. They were already investing in that particularly cities that I was looking at. And the cities are Hammond and Gary. I found Maskey Finance and I found Millennium Mike, who were quite open with their numbers and the properties that they had in those cities. I immersed myself in real estate when I was looking to invest. I read books, I went to bigger buckets, I listened to podcasts, I just inhaled that information nonstop. And I also started looking in Indiana markets nonstop. At first, I was very scared of Gary. Because if you look Gary as a city, when you look it up, it doesn't seem it has the same metrics that most successful real estate markets do have. Like if you look at that, there's not a lot of job growth. There's not big enterprises there. It used to be a town where there were these big steel factories in the 1950s and 60s before the United States started outsourcing for steel to China and Mexico. So it was kind of like risky to look at that market, but the numbers just made sense, and I kept seeing it. It kept coming back. Anyways, even as scared as I was, I did not start investing in Gary right away. I started in a town west of Gary, closer to Chicago, borderline, called Hammond. So Hammond was my first city in which I bought a property. If you see the screen, you can see this blue house built in 1900. So it has over 100 years old. Was listed in MLS for quite a while. I believe its initial price was listed for $145,000, and I successfully negotiated the price down to $135,000, and I also negotiated them paying for closing costs, so I got a credit for that particular house. I'm gonna show you the numbers right now. So if you see this graph, you'll see that I got the house for $135,000. There's a credit there of $2,700, but more so, you also see that my interest rate was quite high. And if you know anything from 2021, your interest rates were significantly low. So I kind of started investing not at the best time. My lender, before I closed this loan, wanted to provide me with two different opportunities. One of them was an interest rate of 6.1, and the other one was an interest rate of 6.5. When I was running my numbers, I wanted a cash return of at least 7%. So if you see these two tables over here, you can see that I run both the scenarios, both with a 20% down payment and a 25% down payment. The one that looked for me the most appealing was the 6.5, and you see that because after all expenses, I was netting $197 every month, and my cash return was 7%, 6.99, but I'll take that as a 7. And if you don't know much about real estate, I encourage you to learn what these numbers means, because everybody needs to be informed before going into an investment. And again, I'm not a CPA, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an expert, but this is what I have learned from readings, from immersing myself into this world. And you have to account for, obviously, the purchase price, interest rate, taxes, insurance. And I knew out of state I was not going to be able to self-manage. So I got a property manager, and my property manager charges 8%. So you can see that reflected on the numbers. The expected rent price from that property was $1,400, and actually got $1,400. And you also have additional expenses like vacancy, repairs, and capital expenditures, and these are accounted from the rent price. And these are just your extra security, that if anything happens, your repairs, like something breaks down, you need another door, you need another, I don't know, stove, and or something big happens, like you need a new roof, the furnace went out, the water heater broke, then you're saving money every month for those things that are going to happen. So if you look at my numbers here on the left side, You can see that I account for 5% vacancy, 5% repairs, 5% capital expenditures. And honestly, this has saved me from the headache of thinking that I am just cashing a monthly return and I not putting any money away. So at your own expense, look at what this terms mean, and if you have any comments, you can leave them on the comment down below. And you can like and subscribe if you like this video. I would be putting down the numbers for every property that I bought and explaining to you what my cash on cash return is and how you can build wealth through real estate. Thank you so much.